All right. We were asked for our carving club to do a little movable figure, and this was my one to do it. Monday night we're gonna present them, and I decided to do one of the little. I've already done a little summer thing like this. It's called Carving the Russian Folk Toy, and it's a little bear, and he is playing the piano. Well, this is a little bear chopping wood, and I'm gonna kind of present this to you. And got the little ball at the bottom, and there you go. Now, if I turn around, you can see it even better. And I showed some people, and were very interested in doing this, in other words. So, what I thought we'd do is not do the little bear, but do a little wood chopper, okay? And the same type of deal here. Okay, you've seen these toys before. You've seen them. They're called Russian folk toys. A lot of times that's what they're doing. Just a minute, let me get my stuff out here. So we're going to make us a little Russian folk toy, but we're going to make it, the little bear is about 4 inches high, and so we're going to make it a little man. He's going to be chopping wood. And a lot of people what saw it really wanted to do it, really wanted to do something or see how it's made. And like I said, I do have one called Carving the Russian Folk Toy with a little bear playing the piano. But we're going to do a little wood chopper here, and I'll show you how this goes. Now, one of the things we want to do is on the right side here, he's only 4 inches high by about 1.5 inches. He's 4 inches high by 1.5 inches thick, okay? And the bear is the same way. So basically the dimensions are the same. So the first thing we want to do is we want to come on the side that the arm that goes up and down on the man. We want to just put a little thing here so that we don't carve on that yet, okay? We don't want to carve on that because that's going to be flat in such a way, and we'll work with it after we let me take my knife here. Okay, now the arm will be carved separately for the little area here where where it fits, and the little arm, it goes up and down this separately, okay? So this side will be just a regular piece. All right, let's go ahead and just kind of get our little wood chopper. The wood chopper, we're going to call him. Okay, we're just doing the feet a little bit. We're just doing like that. Little immigrant wood chopper. What he's going to be. Now, what we want to do is take this and just do this like here. And whatever we carve, this is going to be left alone, okay? That area will be left alone. We want to leave that flat. Now, we may carve it down a little bit later, but we don't want to interrupt it right now because we want to leave that flat for the arm. Okay? All right. All right, we're just gonna whittle a little bit. Okay, now we need an arm on this side. Well, let's go ahead and do something first. Let's bring the head down just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna put a hat on him. So, we separate the head from the body. Over here too. Okay. Now, I know that seems a little bit big where the arm is, but we'll work it out later, okay? I just want to leave enough space there that we don't mess with it. We don't mess with that area, okay? We want to round off the head a little bit, and we'll start on the hat. Like I said, this is 4 inches tall, just like the little bear, and he is 1.5 inches wide. So, now we're gonna just go ahead and draw the hat here in a minute, so we'll have plenty of room for the brim and everything like that. And we'll just kind of kind of going around the body a little bit, just once again. God is we serve a good God, I tell you. We do. God gave me the ability to learn to carve. I don't take credit for that. I give him the praise and honor and glory. And I thank him for that. It's fun to do. I could have just not done anything. Just bringing those shoes down a little bit. All right. Now, let's go ahead and bring that down a little bit more. Okay, let's kind of round that head off just a little bit. Now let's go ahead and draw our little hat on him. We're going to bring the hat down pretty good ways. All right, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and draw the hat all the way down to here and around, completely around him, so we have enough room for the brim, because we're not going to put any eyes on him. But I want to put a hat on him. That'll be kind of a good thing. I'm not going to put any eyes on him, so that'll help you, not those that don't have a lot of trouble carving eyes. They won't have to worry about that. Kind of put the hat low. Like that, see that? Carving around, drew it around, and you just begin to go around and take off different phrases for the hat. Let me change knives. I don't like this blade the way. Now, no, I like the blade. I just don't. When I get in those close corners, I like a little bit smaller blade to work with. Let me get my. Bum, bum, bum. I keep these little tube things on it. Let me get a little bit. Here we go. No, that's not it. There it is, right there. Where's the little? There it is. Has to come off of it. I like to get with a little bit closer blade, not such a longer blade, when I'm working with this very closely like this. See how much smaller the blade is? That way I can kind of get, there it goes. See, get in close in there and work. I do much better. I don't know how in the world people can work with blades like 2 inches and stuff like that. I can't work with blades like that. I like a smaller blade. Most of the time I carve with a 1 3/8 inch blade, or 1 1/4 inch blade, or something like that. Usually it's not 1 1/4, it's 1 3/8 inch blade. I like that type of blade. All right, that's going to be our hat. And then you just sort of come up underneath. That's why I like the little blade here. Come up underneath here. Come up underneath here. Long blade. I have such... I don't like... you'll never see me carving with a long bladed knife. You just won't see it. There's nothing wrong with a long bladed knife if that's what somebody wants to use. I just don't carve with them. I like the shorter blade knife, especially when I get around these faces and stuff like that. I like it. I like to work with it. So, but you know, a 2 inch blade, you'll never see it in my hand. I mean, I just don't use it. But I don't carve large figures either. So that's another factor there. Okay. Now, we want to come up here around the hat brim and make our top of our hat. And we just do that by making a series of V cuts. Making a series of V-cuts. Now, usually these toys are left, when they're made, they're left with what I'm trying to say. They're left bare, in other words. They're not painted or anything like that. But I painted my little bear, and I think that looks good. I mean, I think it turned out good. And you can paint them, and they look just as good. So, and you go all the way around this top up here, cutting and doing all that kind of stuff. I think it looks good being painted. So I'll probably paint this little guy. You know, it doesn't matter. If you want to leave it bare wood, that's fine. The Russian folk toys, yes. You hardly ever find them painted. But I thought, well, if I want to paint one, I can paint it. And I like them painted. I think it gives them a much more characterization. And I know a lot of people don't like to, and that's okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm just going around the knife, cutting away to make the top of the hat, in other words. And you can also just do it like this. Just come up here, start doing it like that, making the top of the hat. Yeah, I like to paint my figures. I do. I have always, and then we just come here. We just keep working around that hat a little bit. You work up underneath here because you could bring that brim forward a little bit and bring the face in. You just gradually begin to work that top of that hat down. Make a little cut on all four sides. Start bringing the top of the hat down. And yeah, I like to paint my figures. I always have. It's just something I like to do. But you don't have to paint yours. You can leave them bare, the wood bare. I just feel there's more characterization in a painted figure. Now, if you're using beautiful wood or something where it's showing the grain, then no, you don't want to paint it. Like if I was cutting this out of butternut, I would not paint it at all, because butternut is a beautiful wood. It's sort of like a walnut wood, and I would not paint it at all. So that's just the way I feel. Okay, as you can see, we're now getting the top of the hat down. And it's just a matter of choice. I like to paint my figures. I like to make sure that they're... Now, the brim is too thick, so then when we start coming down with the brim, now you want to be real careful when you work with this hat. I mean, you want to just take your time. Don't get in a hurry. You got to make a lot of cuts here to make the hat. So just take your time, please. Don't get in a big hurry. Don't get in a big, excited and all that other stuff. Just take your time and do that, because it does take a little while. I'm sorry, it does. See how it's coming along? It does take a little while, but if you take your time, you won't get cut, you won't get hurt, and you'll get it the way you want it, in other words. Okay, go. These little Russian folk toys, they're movable toys that you see. You've seen, they make some that you can make them where they're playing a drum. You can make them where they're rowing a boat, sort of like, or something like that, in other words. We're going to try to, like I said, I want to make the little wood chopper for you again, because that's what I did the first time. And they're not what you would call, I guess today, the kids, the kids, they don't want to play with too many toys like this. I mean, it's neat to them at first, but they're not really into that type of toys anymore, because they're not, shoot, you got remote control toys now, you got all that stuff, so you don't have to worry about it. So children today are not really into these type of toys, but just to make them and enjoy them, that is something that you would like to, most people would like to see. They like to see the movement and stuff, but it doesn't really, today kids, they got all the toys in the world, and they do all different things, so these are sort of boring type toys, but they're kind of fascinated by them, well, how do you make them, how'd you do that, and all that other stuff. Wood carving is a fascinating hobby. It really is, to a lot of people, but it's, just like a lot of men still make the toys, the wooden